Hello and welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day. Tomorrow, the oral hearings at the International Court of Justice will continue. In this opportunity, Colombia will respond to the arguments presented by Nicaragua on Monday.
Yesterday, the oral hearings continue on the third lawsuit that the Central American country filed against Colombia related to the violation of sovereign rights and maritime space in the Caribbean Sea. Nicaragua presented once again its arguments, and this time the Central American country maintained that Colombia does not recognize the 2012 court ruling. In view of this, Carlos Gustavo Arrieta, Colombia's agent before the court in The Hague, assures that Nicaragua arguments have not changed.
Hoy escuchamos la segunda ronda de argumentos de Nicaragua.
Today we have heard the second round of arguments from Nicaragua. In essence, what they did was to repeat what they said in their first round of arguments. They said absolutely nothing new. They maintained their position that Colombia has violated its sovereign rights and that Colombia has a repeated policy of ignoring the ruling. To this, we will respond and reiterate that Colombia is clear that Nicaragua intends to disregard Colombia's rights by being present in the area. Our arguments are still very strong and solid, and we believe we have the evidence to move them forward.
The agent also assures that Nicaragua recognizes that Colombia can be present in the area in the fight against drug trafficking.
Vale la pena.
It is worth recognizing that Nicaragua today accepted that Colombia could have presence in terms of the fight against drug trafficking. However, we know that Colombia has always had that right, but at least they accepted that this right existed.
The hearings will continue tomorrow with Colombia's response to the arguments presented by Nicaragua on Monday. It is worth noting that these hearings will culminate on October 1st.
The national mobilization in favor of the 10 bills presented by the strike committee before the Congress of the Republic took place today in the island with total normality.
In response to the call of the National Strike Committee, Union Collective and Colombian Federation of Educators, FECODE, mobilized from the Educators' House to the Manawar Park to protest against the national government non-compliance and lack of the guarantees in the infrastructure of the island's educational institution to return to on-campus classes.
Very important for we to join in this mobilization today. We are returning back to the streets. We have a whole year that we didn't went out in the streets, and we are protesting against the politics that our president having with us. Specifically in this time, well, we know we signed some compromisement with the national government, and until now they do not comply with anyone as yet.
And in the national, in the regional field and everywhere, the problem with the go back to the presentiality, for example, but in a condition, we are not denying to go back to presentiality, but we have to get some biosecurity issues in the school that you can feel yourself secure, because we know that the virus and the pandemic still exists. So we have to be careful in that.
In some schools these days there was no water. So this situation of not having water, you can get a picture, an x-ray of how the situation is. Because if there is no water, that means that there is no sanitation or cleanliness.
The teachers also requested that the 10 bills submitted by the strike committee to the Senate of the Republic for strengthening of the economic reactivation of the country be expedited.
And as work progresses to comply with the agreements reached with the inhabitants of the neighborhoods adjacent to the Distrito 13 road, Biola clarified its role in the solution to the situation afflicting this community.
In dialogue with Teleislas News, the manager of Biola referred to the work being carried out by the company in order to comply with the duty that the company has with the residents neighboring the road parallel to the airport runway called Carrera 13, where the community demands definite solutions to the poor conditions of the road that leads to difficulties in access and vehicular traffic.
As far as our company is concerned with respect to this blockade, the community was requesting the filling of a ditch for an intervention we are carrying out to repair damage to the 25-liter desalination plant plant impulsion line that carries water from Lax Bight to the tank located in Mission Hill. We received this pipeline with the 25-liter desalination plant that was built by the Risk Management Unit. This pipeline is presenting construction problems. We have already informed the Departmental Administration of this situation so that they can solve the problem either legally through the policies or by calling the contractor of the work through the Risk Management Unit, since this pipeline presents constant damages, and that is the reason why there are some areas that we have not been able to fill completely, because we have to intervene immediately. There are months in which we have had up to 7-8 damages in the pipeline, and this complicates the operation.
Biola's manager emphasized that they are compliant with the commitments agreed with the residents of the sector as a result of the blockade they carried out yesterday on the road.
Yesterday, the community's request was that the ditch be closed and that the roadway be enabled in the section where we were carrying out the intervention. This began yesterday, and today we are going to finish and leave this area completely passable.
For their part, inhabitants of the area were satisfied with the work being done in response to their requests.
Thank God today they complied with us. They complied with this area, with the neighborhoods. The machinery has been working since 7 in the morning. We have taken some preventive measures, especially to protect the mobility of the people. We made a cordon because they were moving in the middle with the machines, but in general we are seeing results.
For its part, the departmental government has emphasized on the existence of resources that will be destined to definite solution of the problem that has plagued the inhabitants of the sector for several years.
And in other news, the Departmental Hospital advances the delivery of pending medications. Waiting patients can come to the medical center to validate their inclusion in the list of people to receive the drugs.
In the interest of ensuring that patients have the medicines prescribed by their treating physicians, the Departmental Hospital counsels those who are waiting to receive them to come to the medical center to validate their inclusion in the list of people to whom they are being delivered in order to proceed to claim their medical prescriptions.
From the hospital, we want to make a call to the community that are pending to receive medicines to come to this assistance center in the afternoon if they are on the pending list, so that they can receive their medications and we can guarantee an adequate provision of health services.
Dr. Erica Palacios explained the inconveniences that have arisen during the delivery process while highlighting the importance for the hospital to comply with the delivery of medicines, and this to guarantee a good health service.
There are more or less 350 people that we have not been able to locate, either because of some issue with their telephone number or with their addresses being written wrong at the time of the delivery of this information. We know that in San Andres we do not manage a proper categorization for the addresses. However, we have attempted on numerous occasions through home delivery, but it has been impossible to reach the people I mentioned previously. Therefore, we extend this invitation to them, since we weren't able to take it to their home, that these people come to the assistance center for their medicines.
With this call, it is expected to complete the delivery of medication to the largest possible number of awaiting patients.
And the day of vaccination against rabies developed during the morning today was a success. This was stated by veterinarian Julian Vasquez.
From 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, staff of the Health Secretariat was in the Barrio Obrero neighborhood carrying out vaccination of canines and felines against rabies, and activities that will be developed throughout the year and throughout the island.
Today is World Rabies Day, and we chose this neighborhood because of its size and the influx of animals all year round. We are going to be doing the same campaign we have been doing in several neighborhoods. We have a program, and we will continue to see if week by week we go into these neighborhoods.
It is important to remember that people who are interested in having their pets vaccinated must have their canine or feline vaccination card at hand. Let's remember that applying the rabies vaccine to your pet, besides being a legal requirement, is a NACAF responsibility.
And cases of COVID-19 continues in the archipelago with a downward trend in the rate of infection.
The National Institute of Health in its daily report registered 2 new cases of COVID-19 in the archipelago. Authorities indicate that there have been no deaths due to the virus today in the islands. During the last weeks, the archipelago has registered a drastic decrease in the rate of coronavirus infection, being last August the lowest month in terms of number of infections so far during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Departmental State Social Enterprise indicated that it will be carried out this week at Pras Testing Day on Wednesday and Thursday in the sector of New Guinea and Maurice Landing, on Friday in South End, and on Saturday in Linval and Cove. On the other hand, the Ministry of Health in its report of the National Vaccination Plan until September 26 indicated that 82,700 doses have been applied in the archipelago.
And now we continue with Victor Fusalva and all the sport news of our department.
Hello, here are the best sports of the islands. The Roboball is a tournament that continues to integrate the community in a very pleasant sport environment. The Roboball tournament continues to be competitive, with 4 teams competing for first place in a very evenly matched. The Bomberos and the Wiwis are 2 of these teams that occupy the first places of this tournament. They play an interesting game that pleased the public for the quality of the plays that were seen during the match. We spoke with Pascual Salcedo, the organizer of the tournament.
This moment we're playing a tournament in San Andres, the Roboball. Plenty I don't know about it. I want to young, you know. And right now is a way to we share with the community. Is a way to we build up as company, to build up as friend, and to get more friendship with next people. Well, this tournament we're playing. Each person share and give them the little support how they can. We're really begging the government to help us with it, to help us with uniform, to help us with the field, you know. But it's a nice activity what we got with the people them. Not just Raisal, you got Panya like how we call them too. Then the resident from San Andres, we share with them. We don't got no fight. We just enjoy ourselves. Then got little food.
The Roboball is a sport that needs more help to continue entertaining and integrating the community, as stated by the organizer. Basketball team Caribbean Storm traveled to Cartagena, where it will continue with its training process. After a weekend with an afternoon of recreation and distraction, the professional basketball team Caribbean Storm traveled to the city of Cartagena, where they will continue their training and play some scrimmage in order to be ready to face the next bubble of the Colombian Professional Basketball Tournament. Tournament that will be held in the Jenny Bay Basketball Coliseum in San Andres. While continuing the repair work of the venue, the team will be making adjustment to their last cycle of preparation in the heroic city. This is what the club manager Nelson Sanz told us.
Estamos aquí compartiendo con la gente de la isla, integrando a los muchachos.
We are here sharing something of the island with the boys, especially with the foreigners who are here on the island supporting this whole process. We are going to the city of Cartagena. There we made some arrangements to have a sports venue available to the professional team. We will be there for 2 weeks training, as we have scheduled several friendly matches in order to give a little space to the Coliseum of St. Louis and have the best conditions to start the league. We have a better roster. We are counting on the presence of Michael Jackson. We wanted to have him for seasons ago, so it is a great incentive for the whole team, and we are with very good expectations.
According to Sanz, the team has a better roster this year to face this new season. The fans are anxiously awaiting for the beginning of this new session of basketball sport, which is part of the culture of the island department. And this is all in sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.
Thank you, Victor. Now we continue with the weather forecast. The weather forecast for tomorrow, September 29, in the coastal area of the archipelago, the sky will be partly cloudy. Temperature will be of 30 degrees Celsius, so winds from the northeast direction. With intensities of 10 km per hour, humidity forecast will be of 75%, and probability of precipitation will be of 20%.